What? Very good.
She can't do it.
Why?
I've never done replies at all before.
Why is he using here?
Apparently, I find that he'll be a better PM this time around. So I accept the second.
You could be wrong.
Okay, you guys, please help us out by.
Ladies and gentlemen, today in the UK, we see that there are 66% of obese adults, and we see that this is a really serious problem in the UK. Obesity is one of the highest problems that we see prevalent there. And we think that in order to combat this problem of obesity, we must first be able to establish role models in the society. And all these role models are under the employment of companies that provide healthcare services. We see these healthcare professionals as, for example, nutritionists, as well as doctors, ladies and gentlemen. And we see today that when we are able to establish role models, we will first of all be able to increase the reputation of the company, and as well as increase the reputation of these healthcare professionals themselves. Today, I'll be touching on how it actually helps to increase the image of the company when they actually have healthcare professionals that look like they fit the role and have the kind of experience in themselves in living healthily. And also, we think that when these healthcare professionals live healthy lifestyle, they will be able to better serve their customers and patients. And also we're talking about how these role models, they should essentially practice what they preach. And my second speaker will be furthering that point. No, thank you, sir. Now we see here, ladies and gentlemen, that companies, they basically live and die by their reputation. And what actually projects that reputation, ladies and gentlemen? You see that it is the people who work there out on the ground floor. People who are out there serving their customers, serving their patients, ladies and gentlemen. So we see here that in order to actually protect this reputation, we do require to have these healthcare professionals to actually be able to project the image. And if they do not actually project the image of a healthcare professional, such as looking fit and healthy and not swollen and skinny, we think that would essentially help to be able to project a better image. Sit down, sir. Now, let me ask you one question, ladies and gentlemen. Would you actually trust, for example, a doctor to give you an advice on, for example, how to control your weight when the doctor himself is actually looking plump and big size? Or would you actually trust a nutritionist to give you a better advice on how to for example have nutritious eating when your nutritionist is skinny, sallow looking, and basically doesn't look like she eats healthily herself? We think that all these are very important to the company's image.
What's wrong, man?
Yes, sir.
In what way is the doctor's ability impeded by the fact that he's fat?
We don't think that they actually impede the ability, but what we're discussing here today is the reputation of the company and how much the patient or the consumer actually trusts his advisor. Now, so as I was saying, we think that a doctor essentially in a business world does have to be able to fit the role fit the role and image of the doctor, ladies and gentlemen. No, thank you, sir. I'll take you in. We think that if the doctor is unable to actually project a form of image, a form of trust to the patient, we think that essentially he will not be able to establish any form of connection. And we think that the relationship between a doctor and a patient is something that is very personal. And in order to actually be able to fully trust your doctor and be able to go to him for every single advice, you have to be able to establish a connection. And we see that on the part of the doctor, he can actually do more to actually enhance the connection by fitting the image of how doctor should be, which is to look fit, which is to look healthy, ladies and gentlemen. No, thank you, sir. And also we think that healthcare professionals, when they're able to actually fit the role and establish the kind of connection with his or her patient, or when a nutritionist is able to gain the trust of a customer, we think that they are essentially be able to better serve these customers, ladies and gentlemen. We think that if they are unable to actually serve fully to the best of their extent, to the fullest ability. Essentially, the image and the reputation of a company is destroyed, ladies and gentlemen. And we think that in the UK, where healthcare companies are something that is a booming business because of all the healthcare problems that is actually prevalent in the country, we think that every single company would essentially want the ground people to be able to build up this reputation, to be able to build up an image, and in order to draw more businesses, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we think that every company, they do actually have the right to actually request that their professionals, that their healthcare professionals fits the image to the best of their ability. No, thank you, sir. Now on to my second point on how we think that healthcare professionals, they are actually role models in society. We see that obese people, we see that in UK when there's such a high percentage of obese adults, we think that they essentially look to role models. No, thank you, sir. We think they essentially look to role models to actually follow an example, ladies and gentlemen. We think that obese people actually require that kind of motivation and support from their role models when they're actually obese and trying to lose weight. And when actually go to a healthcare professional, they do actually expect the best kind of advice that they can get. And we think that the best kind of advice only comes when the healthcare professional actually goes through the kind of healthy living lifestyle themselves. No, thank you, sir. And we think that in order to actually give the best kind of advice, in order to, for example, advise a moderately obese person on how to eat healthily, how many servings of fruits, how many servings of carbohydrates that they actually should get, or how much exercise that they should get. We think that all these first-hand experience actually allows them to actually better advise their customers, ladies and gentlemen. We think that only when a healthcare professional has that kind of first-hand experience and is able to actually better show their customers and patients that, hey, I have been there, I have done that, and I think you can do it too. We think that all this kind of will actually boost the morale of the consumers, ladies and gentlemen. So basically, today I've really shown you two things, ladies and gentlemen. I've shown you that the reputation of the company is something that can be built from the ground level, from the very base level where the healthcare professionals actually got to meet the people themselves. And on a second level, we think that these people are actually able to better advise the customers and patients only when they have actually gained that kind of first-hand experience themselves. And all these will actually promote better healthy living in the society. All these reasons.